Post by Owen Jones on X today, which simply says art. And it's a photograph of a young lass, obviously a bleached blonde, more kids than the Waltons to 8 different dads, 2 of which are named Tyrone. Slapper, ditching a milkshake in Nigel Farage's face again. You know, I came here to debunk a ludicrous post made by yet another hand-wringing communist on Twitter, which made some outrageous claims that I'm going to get to momentarily. But with this one, suffice it to say that it's not original or funny. I was doing videos about this type of behaviour about 3 or 4 years ago when a fat 3-chinned soy boy from Newcastle ditched a milkshake in Nigel Farage's face, and I pointed out that the fascist left, who are always everything they accuse you of, are always talking about political violence, but they seem to be the only ones perpetuating it. And to anybody who says this isn't assault, I'd simply say this: if I was to encourage every single person who isn't a Guardian reading soy boy with a ring piece like the top end of a Wellington boot to march up to Owen Jones everywhere they see him in public and ditch a pint of Guinness or whatever beverage you happen to have to hand in his face everywhere he goes all the time, would the people doing it get arrested? Would they? Or would it just be something that we expected? Because people have been nicked for having a pop at Owen Jones before, and when Anna Soubry was calling everybody a fascist and a Nazi, and she got a bit of it back herself, everybody got arrested for that as well. So the woke Gestapo are basically exactly what it says on the tin, and that's what everybody normal has been saying for so long, and that's why people like Farage are getting popular. Because even if you don't personally like him, rank brazen hypocrisy is kind of irritating. So that's all I'll say on it. If they want to play this game, have at it. Because we know what happens when the far left go up against the far right. We've got lots of history books that can tell us what happens, and I'll give you a clue. It goes exactly the same way as you might expect in 2024 when you see what the far left look like, i.e. sparrow-boned soy boys, and you see what the far right look like, which is big skinheads with tattoos on the neck, who often work as burly labourers or scaffolders or bricklayers or something. Who's going to win that fight? Some scrawny, glass-jawed, soy-addled Guardian writer who's never worked a real day in his life, or a scaffolder who spends 10 hours a day throwing steel around on an oil platform in Aberdeen? Think about it. Before you start encouraging assault, you dopey twats, think about what will happen if it becomes the norm. Only one side ever wins those conflicts, and it's never you lads. So pack it in, alright? Anyway, rant over. Let's get to the meat of what I came here to talk about. From Russ Jones, professional liar. Well, he's a lefty, so of course he's a professional liar. Farage claims fact-checked 100% false. 2.4 million migrants settled. Immigration requires a new home every 2 minutes. Candidates yelling about Allen's snack bar. UK outperforms EU. Shoplift £200 without prosecution. Starmer fought for asylum benefits. Right, so this professional liar says all of that has been fact-checked by him, obviously, and they're all 100% false. 100% false. Well, I haven't got much on today, so I took 5 minutes Googling some of these, and I'll show you the results, shall I? I'll give you a clue. Russ Jones has got a forked tongue. Russ Jones makes Grima Wormtongue look like an honest, upstanding gentleman. But let's get into it, shall we? I'm going to prove it using The Guardian of all people. Right then, as far as slam dunks go, this is going to be the debunking equivalent of LeBron James doing a triple backflip and smashing one home, and then the whole backboard explodes like on NBA Jam. Because I'm just going to use The Guardian to debunk this lunatic on Twitter. As The Guardian copied that fella's example and desperately tried to prove Farage wrong. The thing with The Guardian is, if they're going to try and debunk him, they can't outright lie about him at this point, because they know people like me and people with much bigger platforms are going to rip them to shreds. So they try, through slippery manoeuvring, desperately to prove him wrong. But in their own story, if you just cut through the fat and read what they've typed, they concede every one of his points was fair. Definitely fair and reasonable to make on the campaign trail, where everybody lies like Joe Biden's GP. So let's just use The Guardian to see what statistics they've pulled out their arse to desperately try and disprove things that everybody in the country with a pair of eyeballs knows is factually accurate. Reality check. How do Farage's claims on immigration and crime hold up? Have 2.4 million people settled in the UK in the last 2 years? Essentially, no. This is false. Official statistics showed that 1.2 million people arrived in the year ending December 2023, which projected over 2 years makes 2.4 million. But it's incorrect to say they've all settled. Yeah, some of them haven't settled. No, they're still a bit anxious. Or they might have moved here and got a council house, but they miss home, you know. Yeah, there's an Afghan in Slough who really misses caving his daughter's head in with a brick if she shows her ankles. So he's not settled, is he? No, definitely not settled. Just move there. Yeah, cheers then. And then they say, and the standard measure is net migration. So, I mean, that's way better, isn't it? If you do net migration, it was only 700,000 December, and it was only like 800,000 the previous year, and that's way better. Way better. Well, no, it isn't. It isn't. Because the people who move out are people like me, who paid taxes from the age of 16 and never got a single penny in dole money and doesn't think women shouldn't be allowed to vote or show their ankles and has never once stabbed anyone in the eye on London Bridge or redecorated the Manchester Evening News Arena in brain matter grey whilst wearing a hissing backpack and shrieking about the snack bar. So not really a good thing if only 764,000 people who think that's a good idea move in, and all the people who move out are people who talk and walk and work like me. Is it, you lunatics? Do we need to build a new house every 2 minutes? It's not entirely clear what this statistic relates to. The rate would be slightly more than 260,000 homes a year, equating to about 2.6 people per house based on net migration, which is slightly higher than the average UK household occupancy. So it's not quite as misleading, although it doesn't take into account the UK's housing crisis is a question of distribution as well as supply. Sorry, are you supposed to be debunking him, Guardian? So this whole piece is like, yeah, I mean, technically, it's like 2.6 people per house. So, you know, not really misleading, but we wish it was. All right, if that's good enough for you, Guardian reader, if you read that and you go, aha, checkmate, Farage was definitely lying. And the million people that move in a year, I mean, they don't all need houses, do they? Some of them live in tents or under bridges like trolls. Checkmate, Farage. Technically, some of them live under bridges. If that's good enough for you, you're a maniac. But to me, that is strike two. That's the Guardian proving Farage right, whilst trying to debunk him. Imagine how incompetent they must be. That's like me accidentally eating 12 Greggs sausage rolls while trying to be a vegan. It's hard to eat 12 sausage rolls. They're not just failing. They're failing better than I could fail if I was trying to fail. Because they haven't got a logical thought in their empty craniums. Did a series of local election candidates yell all about Alan's snack bar? Farage said, we're finding about what happened. Candidates winning in Leeds, in Burnley, in Bradford, shouting about the snack bar and say, we are coming to get you. This one appears to be false in 2 areas. Right, rather than read the gobbledygook, I mean, you all seen the videos. Everyone saw the videos. But out of morbid curiosity, I'll just show you one. A newly elected councillor in Leeds, backed with a mob. Mr. Ali won the Gipton and Harehill seat with 3,070 votes. Yeah, looks like a reasonable fella, didn't he? Let's see what he had to say.
Raise the voice of Palestine! Allahu Akbar!
Do I need to say anything else? 100% debunked. What was he doing? What was he shouting? Unless he really does work for the local chain of Alan's snack bar and he was just buzzing off his full English that morning and he couldn't contain his delight and he started shrieking about it in front of an angry mob after the Gipton and Harehills results and he happens to be wearing a ribbon. and holding a clipboard, maybe that's it. But yeah, you know what? I've talked myself into it. You're right, lads. Guardian and Mr. Twitter demonstrable liar. Yeah, nobody shouted that. Nobody shouted it. Don't believe your own eyes and ears. Listen to the communists. All right? Easy. I've changed my mind. I have to read you some of this. Look at this. This appears to be false in two areas. One candidate did shout it after he won, so not false then. But it's commonly used as just a random celebratory term. And they didn't do it in Burnley and Bradford. I don't even know what to tell you. Like, we've all seen the videos. Technically, it's false. It's not false. Oh, yeah, but it's also commonly used as a celebratory term. Yeah, so they shouted about the snack bar, didn't they? You absolute plank. What are you talking about? Jesus wept. I feel like my IQ's dropped 10 points just reading this drivel. I saw a tramp in Los Angeles raving and mumbling and scribbling things on the wall of a petrol station using shit-daubed fingers, and it made more sense than what I've just read in The Guardian. Is the UK doing better than the EU members? It's a selective presentation of the facts. The UK's quarter-on-quarter growth was 0.6, compared with 0.3 for the Eurozone. Okay then. So, we'll just keep that then, will we? The UK's quarter-on-quarter GDP was 0.6 for the first 3 months, compared with 0.3 for the Eurozone. Happy days. We'll have that one. He's more honest than any other politician. They just outright lie. Here we've got The Guardian fact-checking Farage, and they're forced to go, oh yeah, he was right there, wasn't he? You're doing a pretty shite job of debunking him, lads, aren't you? Can you shoplift £200 worth of goods without being prosecuted? This could be down as a rhetorical flourish, but it's not true. While many stores are concerned that shoplifting has become worse, there are numerous stories about people being prosecuted for stealing less than £200 worth of goods. Yeah, and there's numerous stories, probably more numerous, of people not being prosecuted for stealing less than £200 worth of goods. And again, we've all seen dozens of videos of blokes walking out of shops with hands full of, well, they don't steal medical supplies, do they? Random shite, and not getting stopped and nobody doing anything about it. So I'd say he's being more honest than you. All right? Easy. What's the last one? Did Keir Starmer fight very, very hard for asylum seekers to get benefits? Farage said the Labour leader fought very hard for those that arrive on the back of lorries to get benefits once they get here. This is misleading. It is an apparent reference to a 2003 legal case in which Starmer, a barrister, represented 5 asylum seekers denied financial support and won the case. Okay, so Starmer, as a leading barrister, represented 5 asylum seekers denied financial support and won the case. So it's not misleading then, is it? This is that you can tell when they're lying because they don't just say lie. Never use that word. They'll go technically, actually, misleading, misspoken, disinformation, misinformation. No, you're a liar. I don't need to use flowery language. You're lying. You're a professional liar. And the soy boy on Twitter is a professional liar. You're just barefaced lying. Lying like a Chinese Rolex. Lying like a cheap naffy watch. Lying like a hairy egg. You couldn't lie straight in bed. I wouldn't believe your radio, you dirty, stinking commie rat bag. Easy. Look, don't have to mince my words because I'm not telling lies. That's how you know. Actually, misinformation. Suck my festering left one, you lying rat bastard. All right, easy. I will put this story in the comments for you to read at your own leisure. All they do is lie. Never let them forget it. When you meet them in the streets, tell them you're a liar. It's not misinformation. You are just a liar. And I was raised in an era where we were told you weren't supposed to tell lies because it's dishonest and ignoble. But that's all you do because you're a maniac. You're an ideologue. You're a brainwashed activist with a head full of horse shit. You've got a forked tongue and every time you flick it, nonsense spews out. You talk so much shit, your breath would fell an oxen from 500 yards. Okay? Easy. The Guardian lies and this gentleman, in fact, I'll send him the video. Him, Russ Jones. Every one of them things is 100% factually accurate. Go and tell him. Go and tell him. All right? But that's just what I think. Maybe my brain don't work proper and I really haven't got a Scooby-Doo. Maybe reality is all a lie and we're living in the Matrix and there's some type of intellectual Rubik's cubing you can do to convince me that Russ Jones is a bastion of honesty and all of that stuff I've read and all of the things we've seen, the videos we've witnessed and the audio we've heard is all wrong and Russ Jones is right. But I don't think so. All right? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.